Hey guys, it's your girl Patience Noah Fuller, and welcome to Entrepreneurship Tea, where I'm ditching the tea on entrepreneurship, the successes, those frustrating moments, the missed opportunities, and eventually I'll be bringing some guests on to share their stories with you so that you too can determine, should I be an entrepreneur? Should I not be an entrepreneur? If you're already an entrepreneur, so that you too can figure out how to scale your business and press through those challenging moments. So last video, if you watched it, I told you the story about my earlier days as an entrepreneur and my college story. So go back to that video and watch it if you didn't watch it and you're watching this one. That story is hilarious. So I ended up saying that I transitioned to doing hair, and my grandmother had these golden white hair that she would make me do all the time. And I loved my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. Loved that lady. She had so many grandchildren, but she made all of us feel like we were her favorite. Every single person felt like they were my grandmother's favorite. I don't know how she did it, but she had this skill with all of us. So she had this golden white hair, and she used to make me do her hair all the time. When I started, one hair would be going this way and the other would be going this way. But you know what? She would never take it off. She would never take it off. I remember my cousins used to make fun of her, but she kept the hair in. And you know what? That used to encourage me so much because it made me want to do her hair more. None of my cousins wanted me to do their hair, but my grandmother would say, it's okay, come practice on me. That's how come I started doing hair and I developed that skill. When we moved to the US, I remember knowing how to do hair very well. So there was this incident. I had gone to do my hair. I went to go perm my hair. Back in those days, we used to perm our hair. I mean, people still perm their hair now. I went to perm my hair. And if you see what's under this wig, maybe one of these days you'll see what's under my wig. My hair is the hardest, nappiest hair. And I think it would take 2 rounds of perm to get my hair soft. There was this one time I went to go get my hair done at this store down the street from us. We ended up settling in Framingham, Massachusetts, when we moved to the US. I went to go get my hair done. This lady burned my scalp, and then on top of it, she charged me $60. I was so upset. I was so angry because you burned my scalp, okay? The hair didn't even come out the way I wanted it to. Then she charged me $60 on top of it. I was furious. And that day, I came home, looked in the mirror. I remember telling myself, I think I must have been about 16, 17, around there. I told myself, I'm never going to allow somebody to touch my hair again. That's what I told myself. Started braiding my own hair, started doing my own cornrows, started doing my own single braids. And I started learning on myself. Basically, I started to perfect my skill on myself. So my friends saw that and they used to like my hair. So they started asking me to do their hair. And back in those days, a lot of the young men in the neighborhood used to grow their hair, and I would braid their hair for them, and I would charge them $20, $25, things like that. So I would get little, what we call pocket money. Imagine being 16, 17, and you have $20, $30 all the time, okay? So I would braid people's hair in the neighborhood. So I started to get really good. And then when it was time for back to school, guess who everybody would come to get their hair done? Me, one, okay? I used to do all the kids' hair in the neighborhood for back to school. So sometimes I would end up with $300 for back to school. Back in those days, as a 17, 18-year-old, having $300, that's a lot of money. Okay, so I would use it for my back to school to buy my back to school things because my mom, which I will tell you guys about my mom later on during one of these days, right? My mom is an awesome lady. And she raised us as a single parent. But she didn't have enough to go around. The things that I really wanted, she couldn't afford. So I would use my hair money to buy shoes. I love shoes. That was the only thing that you would see me spending money on, food and shoes. I would end up getting that money, buying things for after back to school and things like that. And then eventually, when I got into high school, I went to a vocational high school and I studied cosmetology. As a cosmetologist, I was really good at hair by that time. Now, my skills has been really developed. I'm really doing people's hair now, not just kids' hair. I'm doing adults' hair. And I'm charging $100, sometimes $120. Back in the day, that was a lot of money for us. That's how I ended up getting money during my high school days and then into college days and then earlier on after I graduated college. That's how I used to make my side hustle. That's how I used to make money. Actually, I ended up using that money to do a lot of things with it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I ended up buying my own phone because I wanted these like pink Razor phone and my mom couldn't afford it. So I ended up getting my own phone. I ended up getting like a whole bunch of things for myself when I was younger because every time I went to my mom to ask her for something, she would tell me, "Oh, I don't have money for this. Oh, I have all these people back in Africa that need help. So I don't have money for this." So it used to really get on my nerves. But in retrospect, she did used to help a lot of people. And like I said, I will tell you guys about my mom and tell you her story later on. But it was, it was a cool time in my life because I was very independent. I had my own money, okay? And I didn't really need to go to her for stuff. And then eventually I started getting summer jobs and things like that. In college, I would still do hair on the side. That's how I used to make my money. And I really would never lack for anything because I had this sort of like hustle in me to always like have money. And now when I think about how much people charge for hair now, I'm like, dang, maybe I should go back and start doing hair again. I mean, I still know how to do hair, but you just have to catch me. And it might take you probably 2 years to catch me to do hair because it's a lot of work. I still do my own hair like now and then, but it's a lot of work and people misuse your time and they don't want to pay you what you're worth. So, but once in a while, like if I have time, like maybe when my nieces come over, I do their hair. My best friend, she's always asking me to do her hair and the time has never come. Okay. So that's how much I don't really like doing hair. I enjoy it. I'm very good at it, right? I could do really good updos. Like when I braid, my braids are super clean. My cornrows are super clean, but it's just now I don't have the time. I'm inundated with the insurance side of things. But hey, maybe someday I might go back to doing hair. At least I have this skill that no matter what happens in this life or in the next life, I have something that I can fall back on. That's how I see it, right? And that's why I did cosmetology in high school anyways, because I wanted something to fall back on, okay? Subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on the platforms that are listed below so that you can keep up with these stories of my entrepreneurship journey.